Can't hear you, Prabhu. Can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
It's extremely, extremely mute. I mean, it's not that it's completely off, but it's completely mute. I mean, it's very low.
Hear me now?
No, so a little better, but still very, very low.
Now?
Now?
Headphones.
A little better, but still quite low. It appears, is this me, Prabhuji? Is one-to-one class today, or is it, would you want to
No.
defer? Sorry?
Yes, yes.
Did you want to carry on, Prabhuji, or is this me on the
No, it will be
classes?
recorded, and there are those who listen to the recording.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Those are Bibles.
It's still not very, very clearly audible, Prabhu.
No, I'm not speaking loud, I'm speaking very soft. You just set it up and then afterwards I'll stop. Okay. I read this out up to how much? Yes, up to this much. So I'll resume from 72. Okay, I'll do. Nothing, this one is a commentary. That's on page 72. Something. What is it? Idam sarvam Sham. Yes. Okay. So I'll resume from occasionally I'll read from 72 again. Vande Rupa Sanatanam Rabhiyudau Sri Jiva Gopalakau Idam sa vimrishatyesham upasyo jagadishvarah sa eva madhavaschayam mayanyah upasyate. He continued to think that this Madhava, the Lord of the universe, was the object of worship for these Vaishnavas, and that his object of worship was someone else. Vidvan. So his way of thinking will be brought out from Esham Ityadina, Nacha Ityantena. Will end at text 78. Esham Satam Upasyo Yah Sayeva Jagadishwara. So he was convinced that the object of worship of these saints is indeed the Lord of the universe. I am Drishyavana Madhavascha Sayeva Satam Esham Vachana Pramanya. And this person who was visible in front of him, this Madhava, he is certainly that Lord of the universe. On the strength of the statements of these saints. Mayacha yoyam upasyate anya kopi ityartha. But the person whom I am worshipping, he is someone else, is what he thought. The Brahmana had enough trust in the words of the Vaishnavas to be convinced that the deity of Madhava was indeed the Supreme Lord, but he hadn't accepted enough of their mercy to understand that all along he had been worshipping with his mantra the same Lord. Shankar Chakra Kada Padma Vibhushita Chadurja Namadevas Tatah Kasmat Patiyeta Samadhavaha. Lord Madhava has 4 arms, he thought, and is decorated with a conch shell, disc, club, and lotus. This is not my deity. Why should my Lord look like this? Uttara Hetuna Udbhavayati. No. Uttara Hetu Udbhavayati. Shanketi Sardhatvabhya. And then in 2.5 verses, he brings out various reasons for why he came to that conclusion. Maddevaha, Mama Upasyaha, Shankadi Bhujita, Chaturbujaha na bhavanti. The one who is worshipped by me, my Lord, he does not have 4 arms which are decorated by the conch shell and so on. Madhavastu Shankadi Dhari Chaturbujaha. But this Madhava, he holds the conch shell and so on, and he has 4 arms. Tathacha Shri Madhava Murter Lakshanam Gadashankha Chakra Padman Bibhan Madhava Uchyate. And the characteristics of Sri Madhava have been described in the scripture. That he holds a club, a conch, a discus, and a lotus in that order. Iti. Tatastasmat asadrishyat karanat samaddevaha madhava iti. So for this reason, he is not my Lord. This is not my deity. Kasmadeto pratiyatam papitu na pratitir bhavati ityartha. Why should my Lord look like this? In other words, my Lord does not look like this. The Pancharatras describe the form of Lord Madhava among the 24 new expansions of Narayana. Gada Shankar Chakrapadman Vidvan Madhava Uchate. When the Lord is holding his club, conch shell, disc, and lotus in that order, clockwise from his lower right hand, he is called Madhava. Nayam Narardha Simhartha Rupadhari Chamat Prabhu Na Vamano Yasaumina Purvakoladi Rupavan. My Lord doesn't appear as a half man, half lion. He doesn't become a dwarf or take the forms of a fish, a turtle, a hawk, and the like. Nano no bhavatu Shri Madhava Sadrisha Vaishnavai Rete Pujamana Pratikriti Sadrishyena Tvad Devopi Jagadishwarastu Atrahanaya Miti Sadhana. And then he anticipates an objection here. Okay, he may not be the Lord of the universe, but these Vaishnavas, they are worshipping your Lord, who is somewhat similar to the various forms that they are worshipping. So your deity could, in fact, be the Lord of the universe. Anticipating that, he speaks this verse. Tatrahanayam iti sardhen araseva artham paschat bhagaha yasmin tatha simhaseva artham ubari bhagaha yasmin tadrisha rupadhari. Half man, half lion means the upper portion is like that of a lion and the lower portion is like that of a man. Not Prabhu, not Prabhu. That person cannot be my Lord. In other words, he thinks that this form of Sri Nrsimha, he cannot be the Lord of the universe. Now, Vamanaditanarupi Takara Sadrishya Bhava. Similarly, the various forms of Vamana and so on, because they appear very different from my Lord. Napikotandapanisya Raghavo Rajalakshana Kesham Chitte Sham Pujena Gopalena Stuva Sadrik. Not as he become the Lord of the Raghus with the signs of a king and a bow in his hand. But maybe my deity does somewhat resemble the Gopal worshipped by some of these devotees. Nanu Shri Raghunathasya Akara Sadrishyena Sevayamastu Utrahanadi. Another objection. But Shri Raghunatha, he appears to be similar in form to your object of meditation. So maybe he's the same person. Anticipating that, he says, no. Ragyeva Lakshanani Shveta Chhatra Chamara Simhasana Dini Yasyasa. No, this Rama, he has the characteristics of a king with a white umbrella, with chamara fans being whirled next to him. He is sitting on a simhasana and so on. Nanu Shri Gopala Sadrishyena Tvadevo Jagadishwarastu Taha Keshanchit Iti Sartha Dvayena. But there is a similarity between your Lord and this Sri Gopal, who is worshipped as one of the forms of Vishnu. So he could be the Lord of the universe. Anticipating this, he speaks the second half of this verse. Esha Manthe Keshamchit Mukhyanam Ityartham. Amongst some of these forms worshipped by the Vaishnavas, meaning amongst the prominent forms worshipped by these Vaishnavas, Maddeva Gopalena Sadrik Akara Veshadina Tubyana Astu Vashabda Vitarke Anirdharaneva. There is some similarity in terms of appearance, costumes, and so on with the Gopala worshipped by these Vaishnavas. Maybe in Sanskrit, Va indicates uncertainty. It indicates a conjecture that's happening. The Brahmana could not identify the deity of this mantra with Lord Ramachandra, who appeared as a great king with the royal symbols of throne, chamaras, and white umbrella. Manye thapi madiyo yam na bhave jagadishvaraha. Nasti tal lakshanam magha mahatmyado shrutam yat. Still, I cannot imagine that my deity is the Lord of the universe. My deity doesn't have the characteristics I've heard described in the glorification of the month of Magh and other scriptural texts. Tatapyayam madhiyaha madhupasyadevaha jagadishvaraha na bhavet na sambhavet. Still, it's not possible that my worshipable deity could be the Lord of the universe. He yasmat, because tasya jagadishwarasya lakshanam yanma mahamahatmyado shrutam tanmaddeve nasti tyartha. Because the characteristics of the Lord of the universe that I heard from the Magha Mahatmya and other scriptures do not exist in my deity. Tathacha Padma Purana Uttarakhande Magha Mahatmya Devadyutyupakhyane. And those characteristics are set out in the Padma Puranas Uttarakhanda Magha Mahatmya in the incident pertaining to Devadyuti. And he quotes two verses which we'll see. Adishabdena Skanda Purana Adruptam Tadrishameva Prayagadi Mahatmyam Grahya. And other scriptural texts refers to the glories of Prayaga and so on, which are found in the Skanda Purana and other Puranas. Lord Madhava of Prayag is described in the story of Devadyuti, which is included in the Magha Mahatmya of the Padma Purana. Tam drishpa garudarudham pratyagrad jaladat chavim chaturbahum vishalaksham sarvalankara bhushita. He saw the Lord seated on Garuda. The Lord's complexion was the color of a new rain cloud. He had 4 arms and broad eyes, and he was decorated with all kinds of ornaments. Brahmadiyas surasarve yoginas sanakadayaha tvam sakshat kartumichanti siddhaschat kapiladayah. All the demigods led by Brahma, the yogis led by Sanaka, and the perfected mystics led by Kapila want to see you in person. The current verse says that the Brahmana heard from Magha Mahatmya Adav, the Magha Mahatmya and other texts. Those other texts may have included the section of Sri Skanda Purana that glorifies Prayag Tirtha. Gopar Bhavangai Sakhi Vidvane Saka Vamshi Mukho Rakshiti Vanya Bhushan Gopangana Varga Vilasalam Pato Dharmam Satam Lankai Yati Taro Yatha. My Lord takes care of the cows in the forest, along with his many cowherd friends. He holds a flute to his mouth and is decorated with forest ornaments. Just like an ordinary person, he transgresses the religious principles of saints, being always addicted to playful sports with all the cowherd girls. Tad eva abhivyanjayam tad viparitam nija dhyanadam anubhuyamanam atma upasya lakshanam aha gopeti. So he gathers, he comes to the conclusion that no, it cannot be this way, because he had experienced in this meditation and so on that his worshipable deity possesses a different set of characteristics, which are brought out here. Samadupasya Sakibis Saha Vane Garak. My worshipful Lord, he protects cows with his friends. Vamshi Mukheyasya Saha, with a flute in his mouth. Satata Vamshi Vadana, Satata Vamshi Vadana Rutakvat. Because he is constantly playing on his flute. Vanyani Varhapida Gunjavatam Katampamala Gairika Tilaka Adini Bhushanani Yasisam. He is decorated with various forest items. Varhapida, peacock feathers, Gunjavatam, sir, with gunja berries, with garland of kadamba flowers, with tilak markings from the different minerals from the hill, and so on. Satam dharma paradara pariharadikam yatha itaraha prakritaha eva. Just like a materialistic person, he transgresses the dharma of the saints. Evam rupa balaka gana sakhya adina asya jagadishata na sangakshatte na. Because he is friends with cowherd boys and so on. Stop. It's just not fitting that he could be the ruler, the lord of the universe. Bhavatva satamesham upas yasya gopalasya vamshi mukhatvadi samyena jagad ishata samhana. Tathapi vanamadhye gocharanadina visheshatha dharma atikramena kadapi na jagadishata ghateta iti bhava. It is possible that the Gopala, who is the worshipful deity of these saints, could be the Lord of the universe, because there is some similarity. He also has a flute playing on his face, and so on. But my Lord, my deity, he engages in activities like herding cows in a forest. And specifically, he transgresses dharma. There is absolutely no possibility that he could be the ruler of the universe. That is the implication here. Arguing on the strength of the evidence he has gathered about his Gopal from meditating on the mantra, the Brahmana here tries to prove that the deity of one mantra cannot be the Lord of the universe. The Brahmana's worshipable Gopal is always in the forest with his friends, busy taking care of his cows. His flute is usually near his mouth because he very much likes playing on it. He also likes to decorate himself with forest items like peacock feathers, garlands of kalamba flowers, red oxide tilak for his forehead, and rings of gunja berries for his ears. Like a wayward materialist, he violates the laws of cultured behavior by consorting with other men's wives and behaving in other socially forbidden ways, none of which suits the character of the Supreme Lord of the universe. Even if in some features the Brahman's Gopal resembles the Gopal worshipped by some of the local Vaishnavas, the Narayan expansion called Gopal, that Gopal Narayan cannot be the same person. Lord Narayan could hardly go wandering in the forest tending cows, nor habitually break the principles of religion. Now, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has pointed out in his commentary to the Brahma Samhita, which has also been reflected well in Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's commentary to Brahma Samhita, that in reality, Krishna, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, Swayam Bhagavan, he never breaks dharma. though he may appear to. And there is a very long purport in the Brahma Samhita under the verse Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabhis. So those who are interested can go through it and read it carefully, where Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who's deriving his content from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, they are demonstrating very carefully on the basis of scriptural evidence and logic that the Swayam Bhagavan, Krishna, he never breaks dharma. That was also elsewhere noted in Laghu Bhagavatamrita, which we already saw. Okay, text 78. Devya prabhavad anandam asyapya aradhane labhe tanna jahyam kadapyenam metan mantra japam nacha. By the power of the goddess, I have felt bliss in worshipping him. Therefore, I shall never abandon him or my chanting of his mantra. Nanu hrudaye nadrsha anandalabhaha anya upasanena na kila ghatate traha devya iti. But then, one cannot derive the bliss in the heart by worshipping anyone other than Lord Vishnu in any of these forms. Anticipating this objection, he states, no, this person may not be God, but the bliss that I derive by worshipping him is so great, I'll never give him up. I'll never give up the worship of this being, this person. That is noted in the current text. Asyapi prakata jagadishwara ta lakshana syapi sacha anandalabha devi prabhava eva iti bhava. Okay, this person may not be actually manifesting the characteristics of the Lord of the universe. Despite that, I do experience great bliss. That could be the influence of the goddess. That's the implication here. Tarhi etam hitva anyopasyatam tatra hatadeti. Then he anticipates that one could object. All right. So then give up this person and worship someone else. Because he's not the ruler of the universe. He's not the Lord of the universe. With this in mind, he speaks the second half of this verse. Tasmat devyadesha adarad anandalabhatma. Therefore, I'll never abandon him or my chanting of his mantra. Therefore means out of my respect for the instructions of Devi, or because of the bliss that I experience in worshipping him. For these two reasons, I'll never abandon him, never give up my chanting of his mantra. Vaishnavas may question how one can realize ecstasy worshipping anyone other than the Supreme Lord. But the Brahmana counters that it is possible by the potency of the goddess Kamakhya, since she ordered him to always chant this mantra. And since he feels such pleasure in chanting, why should he give it up? In other words, he has accepted Devi as his guru. So it is just the order of my authority. I will not give up. And it is in line with my own experience. Evam supurvan mantram tam japan nirjane nijam devam saksha diveksheta satam sangam prabhavatah. Thus the Brahmana continued chanting this mantra in seclusion as before. And by the power of the saintly company of the Vaishnavas, he would see his Lord as if directly in person. Evam vimarshena savibra tam suprasiddham mantra gana atishreshtham Sri Madanagopala Devata kam ashaksharam mantra. So in this way, because of such deliberation, that Vipra, he continued to chant that mantra, that very famous mantra, mantra which is the very best amongst all the mantras. The mantra composed of 10 syllables and whose deity, Sri Madana Gopal. Yadva, another meaning. Tam anirvachaniyam, ashesha upasya shtiromanim, devam, Sri Nandakishoram, chitta shuddhya sandhyana anabhinivesha, sakshadiva iva iksheta. That Lord is beyond proper description. That Lord Madana Gopala is Sri Nanda Kishore, the young, youthful son of Sri Nanda. The Lord who is the questionable amongst all the worshipable deities. So Bhavanayam Saptami. It was as if he was seeing the Lord in person when he was in the company of these Vaishnavas. How is that possible that he could experience the presence of the Supreme Lord when he did not have Shraddha, absolute faith, respect, and so on? That is by the power of these Vaishnavas. Since the ignorant Brahmana lacked the instructions and blessings of a pure devotee spiritual master, he had not yet developed true knowledge and faith. But still he was reaping the benefits of Sadhu Sangha in Prayag. Even without the support of Guru and Shastra, he was making some advancement by associating favorably with Vaishnavas. He kept chanting the 10-syllable Gopal mantra, renowned among all mantras as the most excellent. And as his heart became more and more cleansed, he entered into an intense meditation in which he saw his Lord as vividly as if the Lord were physically present. Because of that intense meditation, his heart was purified and therefore he was able to pursue. Vastu swabhavad ananda murcham apnoti karhichit vyuthaya japakala pagamam alakshya shochati. Because of the nature of the object of this meditation, he sometimes fainted in ecstasy. And when he woke up and noticed that the time for chanting his mantra had been lost, he would lament. Tatascha, moreover, karhichit kasminnapya avasare. Sometimes Anandena murcham sarvendriya bahirvritti vritti rupam sat samadhav iva kamapi dasham prapnoti. He sometimes fainted. All of his senses stopped their external functioning, as if he was in a spiritual samadhi. Vastu svabhavat iti sarva anandaka tad darshana svabhavadeva. And this was simply because of the nature of the object of his meditation. The object of his meditation gives bliss to everyone. And it is the very nature of meeting that person that gives rise to such bliss. Na tu tat tattva alochana adina iti artha. This is not because of philosophical deliberation and so on. Yuthaya bahisangyam labdva. And when he woke up, which means when he became conscious of his external surroundings, japakalasya niyamita japa samayasya divabhagasya va apagamam atyayam alakshya santhya andhakaradi lakshanena gyatva. When he woke up, he noticed that the time for chanting his mantra had been lost because he had a specified regulated time for this mantra chanting. His daytime was over, so it was already night. Past Sandhya, it was dark. So from all of this, he lost his happiness. Because of all of this, he lost his happiness. Sometimes the ecstasy of his meditation made all the external functions of his senses stop, as if he had achieved samadhi. This symptom was but a superficial reflection of the advanced conditions of bhava and prema. It arose not from mature understanding of the object of meditation, but from the transcendental influence of the object himself. Strictly speaking, in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami points out that there are 3 stages in devotional service: sadhana, bhava, prema. And he points out in one place, in the second part of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, that bhava bhakti corresponds to the status of a Madhyama Vaishnava. So, which leads us to the understanding that since there are 3 stages in bhakti, sadhana, bhava, and prema, if bhava corresponds to Madhyama Vaishnava, then prema would correspond to Uttama Vaishnava, and sadhana would correspond to Kanishta Vaishnava. So in that way, it is a long-standing question amongst the Vaishnava community that how does exactly this, where does it match this? Because Bhagavatam in 11th canto talks about Kanishta, Madhyama, Uttama Vaishnavas. And then Rupa Goswami has this from Shraddha to Prema. Where do they match? How do these 3 match? This is how they match. But in Bhava Bhakti onwards, one actually begins to directly see the Supreme Lord. Therefore, Bhava is considered to be distinct from sadhana. In sadhana, one is not directly perceiving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he begins to directly perceive the Supreme Lord from bhava. There are certain external symptoms of a person who has attained Bhava Bhakti, which can be neither concealed nor faked. These are always present, invariably they are present. Certain symptoms are present, or certain symptoms are noted by Rupa Goswami. Okay. Upadravo yam ko me nujato vigno mahan kila na samapto japo me dyatano ratri yamagata. What is the cause of this disturbance? Now I'm in great trouble. Night has fallen before I could finish today's chanting. Shochanameva upet. This is that lamentation that he referred to earlier. Upadrava, dukkha hetu, utpataha, na chaitat upadrava matram kintu mahan vighna eva. Oh, what is this disturbance? What brought about this disturbance? What is this that is going to lead me to distress? It is not just a disturbance, but it is a great obstruction. I'm in great trouble. Vignah Mahan. Tatra hetu. And the reason for that, that is stated in the second half of the verse. Night has fallen before I could finish today's chanting. Adyatana, adya kartavya ityarthaha. I'm supposed to finish my quota of chanting, and I could not finish it. So all those who are depending for their spiritual progress on the process of chanting scriptural mantra, they have to take up particular vows. And therefore these vows need to be fulfilled. That night had come before he could finish his chanting was an upadrava, or cause of pain, as well as a big obstruction to fulfilling his vow to chant a prescribed number of mantras daily. Kim nidra vibhavo yam me kim bhuta vibhavotava. Aho madhu swabhavo yat chokasthane bhrit sukham. Have I fallen asleep or become haunted by a ghost? Oh, I'm so wicked that even when I have reason to be sad, I feel happiness in my heart. Kutoyam vighna praptam. It is swayameva vicharayati kimiti. Why did I experience this obstruction? Thinking like this, he begins to deliberate on the subject matter himself. Indriya vibhava, sushupta viva, sarvendriyadi vrittinam atikramanam, tantradya bhavam alochya pakshantaram udbhavayati. Maybe I was overcome by sleep. I was in deep sleep. When you're in deep sleep, then the functioning of your senses, they stop. But then he thought, no, but then I would have felt, but I didn't feel tired. So there's no reason for me to have fallen asleep. And so on. He considered various reasons. So then he came up with another idea. No, must have been something else. And that something else refers to a ghost. Kenapya bhivama. Aho khede yad yasmadu swabhavat shokasya japa asamaptya dukkhena shochanasya sthane vishaye api mama krit sukham bhavati. Whatever might be the reason, it is something that brings about sadness. But I'm still happy in my heart. When I'm meant to be unhappy, I'm happy in my heart. I'm meant to be unhappy because I did not complete my japa. So this is because my very nature is so evil. I'm so wicked. I'm so evil. Trying to answer his own question about the cause of the problem, the Brahmana guessed that he might have fallen asleep. But since he didn't feel tired, he guessed again that something else might have happened, like having been attacked by a ghost. Ekada tu tathaiva so shochan nakrita bhojanaha nidrano madhave nedam samadishtas sasantvanam. One day, however, while lamenting in this way, as he began to feel drowsy from fasting, he saw Lord Madhava, who consoled him and gave him this instruction. Tathaiva anandamuchataha japa asamaptya purvadeva shochan naso vipra shokenaiva na kritam bhojanam yena saha. In the same manner, meaning when he had fainted in ecstasy and he was lamenting like before that he did not complete his japa. When this Vipra, he was fasting in distress. And therefore he felt sleepy. Son, idam vakshamanam santvanam ashvasanam. At that time, Lord Madhava appeared and consoled him. Give me the vichashlochasi. Why are you uselessly lamenting? Katham va upasyatmanam mamchit kleshayasi. Why is it, and how is it that you are putting me, your worshipable deity, into distress? Tava ashesha manoratho chirat siddhim gataha. After a long time, your cherished desires, all of your cherished desires, have actually come to fulfillment. Iti pratihi. Ityadi rupam yadva vakshamanam eva mathuro akyam tena sahidam yathasya. So you should have faith in me, and so on. So in that way, the Lord spoke to him very sweetly. Once again, the Brahmana had fallen into a trance of ecstasy, and upon waking, had become upset with himself This time he felt so discouraged that he finished the day without eating, which made him feel sleepy. Lord Madhava, the deity of the Shashwamedha Tirtha, then appeared to him in this sleep-like state and said something like this: why are you lamenting for no good reason? And why are you causing distress to me, your worshipful deity? I assure you that all your ambitions will soon be achieved. Vipra Vishveshwaras Yanusmaravakyam Umapate Yamunatira Margena Takshri Vrindavanam Braja. Dear Brahmana, please remember the words of Vishveshwara, the husband of Uma. Go by the path along the shore of the Yamuna to Sri Vrindavan. Umayas tat aradhitaya mantra upadeshyas tasya devya patyu iti tad vachana lankhanam ayuktam iti. The Lord is implying that it is not proper to transgress the instructions of the husband of the Devi, who had actually given him that mantra. Tadvakimeva smarayan swayam avishati. So the Lord reminded the Vipra of Lord Shiva's instructions. And then he himself instructed further through the second half of this verse. Yamunayati sadhana. Tat Shri Vishveshwara Uddishtam Anurvachaniyam va. So you should follow that instruction of Lord Shiva. That instruction that is so valuable that its glory cannot even be described. While reminding the Brahmana of Lord Vishveshwara's instruction, Lord Gopala repeated it from his own mouth and in his own words, thus making it his direct order also. Apart from this, Vishveshwara, Lord Shiva, is the husband of the goddess Kamakhya, the spiritual authority who gave the Brahmana his mantra. So the Brahmana should not neglect the instruction. Lord Shiva is the guru of Kamakhya Devi, who is the guru of the Brahmana. So when you cannot even disobey the instructions of a bona fide spiritual master, how can you disobey the instructions of the bona fide spiritual master, of a bona fide spiritual master? That is the implication. Tatra asadharanam harsham lapsyase ma prasadataha vilambam patikutrapi ma kurushva kathanchana. By my mercy, where you will obtain extraordinary pleasure, go and don't delay anywhere on the road for any reason. Extraordinary pleasure. Asadharana, nirupama, unparalleled pleasure. Chaturvarga phala siddhitaha apivishishtam ityartha. In other words, that pleasure would be distinct from the perfection of obtaining the results of the four goals. Pati jnanamargado itaha vrindavana vartmanadhye va mama eva prasadata iti tatrapya hameva prasadakarta nanyaha yogi. Don't delay anywhere on the road for any reason, for the sake of pursuing the path of the Gyanis and so on. When you're on the pathway to Vrindavan, it is by my mercy that you will obtain extraordinary pleasure. Even in this matter, it is I, the Lord is telling him, who will bring about your satisfaction, nobody else. Tathapi sthana visheshe, kala visheshe, sangha visheshe, adau eva, mat prasada vishesho bhavedeva iti bhava. Still, in particular places, in particular times, and in particular association, one attains particular types of favors from the Supreme Lord. This is implied here. The pleasure to be had in Sri Vrindavan is incomparable, superior to all kinds of success in worldly endeavor, religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. the Brahmana should be undistracted while on the road to Vrindavan. He should stray from devotional service onto the side roads of Jnana and Karma. Jnana, Karma, Yoga, what to speak of, Atharva. Lord Madhava here advises the Brahmana that good fortune will arise by his mercy alone, the Lord's mercy, not that of anyone else. But that mercy of Lord Madhava will appear, especially in certain places, at certain times, and in certain company. So it's a fact that all genuine pleasure is only coming from Krishna's mercy. But Krishna's mercy assumes special forms in special places, special times, and in special association. Tatassa prataruthaya, Krishna san prastita krama, Shriman Madhurim prapta snato vishranti tirthake. Thus the Brahmana arose early in the morning and happily set out on his journey. Gradually he came to blessed Madhupuri and bathed at Vishranti Ghat, Vishranti Tirtha. Tadas tasmat Shri Madhava Adeshan Savipra Kramat Vardhman Gamana Kramataha. So, thus the Brahmana arose. Thus meaning because of the instruction of Sri Madhava, that Vipra, he arose and gradually he came to blessed Madhupuri. Gradually, as he moved through the pathway one by one, place after place. Obeying the Lord's order, the Brahmana at once started for Vrindavan, and when he entered the holy town, he came first to Mathura city. Following the standard custom of pilgrims, he first visited the bathing place of the Yamuna, known as Vishranti Tirtha, Vishrangha. Gato Vrindavanam Tatra Dhyayamanam Nije Jape Tam Parikaram Prayo Vikshya Vishnam Nananda Sah. He went on to Vrindavan and there felt enlightened at every moment, for while chanting his mantra, he saw in meditation most of the companions and surroundings from Krishna's pastimes. Tam Paramanirvachaniyam Suprasiddham Parikaram Paramasundara Gopa Gana Kadamba Vrikshadikam Nicha Deva Parivara Parichhanta. So he saw all of those various entourage and paraphernalia of the Lord. They were supremely indescribable in glory. They were all very famous. Suprasiddham. These are all the companions and surroundings related to Lord Krishna. The most beautiful cows, cowherd boys, the kadamba trees, and so on. He saw Krishna's supremely beautiful cows, cowherds, kadamba trees, and so on, which, although famous, are beyond the power of unqualified people to describe. Tasmin go bhushite pashyam, kam api tas tato brahma, keshi tirthasya purvasyam, vishi shushrava rodanam. He wandered here and there in that cow-adorned land without meeting any people. But at one place on the eastern side of Keshi Tirtha, he heard someone crying. Tasmin Shri Vrindavanam Kamapi Manushyam Apashyan Obhushita iti Prayaham Manushya Darshana Karanam. So in that place, Shri Vrindavan, not seeing any men, any human beings, because that place was Gobhushite, decorated with cows. So that basically explains why we didn't see any people. Keshi Daityavathas Sthanameva Keshi Samyakam Tirtham Tasya. He heard crying on the eastern side of Keshi Tirtha. Keshi Tirtha is a Tirtha where Lord Krishna had killed the Daitya named Keshi. Tathacha Varahe Shri Mathura Mahatmya. And it is stated in the Varaha Puranas, Shri Mathura Mahatmya section, Ganga Shataguna Prokta, Yatra Keshi Nipatitaha, Kesha Shataguna Prokta, Yatra Vishramito Harihi. Which will be explained here. At the holy place where Krishna had once killed the horse demon Keshi, the Brahmana met the first human being he was to encounter in Vrindavan. This sacred place, Keshi Tirtha, is described in the Mathura Mahatmya of the Varaha Purana. 100 times more sacred than the Ganga, or goddess earth, is the Yamuna in my own abode, Mathura. No one need doubt this. More sacred than Mathura by 100 times is the place on the Yamuna where the Keshi demon fell. And 100 times more sacred than that Keshi Tirtha is the spot nearby where Krishna rested after the demon was killed. Tad digbhagam gatah premna nama sankirtanai yutam tadakarnyam bhagustatra tam manushyam amargayat. Heading in the direction of that sound, he heard it mingled with constant nama sankirtan, performed in pure love, and so he looked for the person chanting. Purvam rodana dhvanimatram duradashna. Previously, he only heard the sound of crying from a distance. Adhunatasya rodanasya digbhagam gata sam. Now he caught wind of the exact direction from which the sound is coming. Sameepa gamanena tat rodanam premna parama anuragena chitta ahradaya yani bhagavan namnam sankirtanam dirgha karuna swarena gana rupa uchcharanani tairiyutta makarnya tam tatrishya rodana kartaram manushya muhur amargayata Vishnavam. But now, as he approached nearby, then he was searching for the cause of that crime. And he heard that crying, which was coming out of love, great affection, with great feelings, with extreme feelings. They were coming from a person whose heart was moist with feelings. And that crying was in the form of utterances of the holy names of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, with sighs, with pity, with a piteous voice. These holy names were being uttered as if while singing. So then he started to search for the person, that human being who was crying in this manner. From a distance, he recognized only the sound of crying, but as he approached, he heard the names of the Supreme Lord being sweetly chanted with great affection, with syllables drawn out long and melodious by someone whose heart seemed completely softened by love of God. He became intent upon finding the person chanting. Okay, let's stop with this. This is a nice place to start. Let me just note this is 2.1.90. 2.1.90. Let me note it down. Okay. All right. So we'll meet next week. I'm trying to restrict the person with Kevacha. Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha.